Hi guys, so once again I am attempting to go ahead and make this video to show you guys once and for all how to use our treasure map. And by treasure map I simply mean the Forsyth County GIS. This is one of the first systems that you should learn as far as the real estate tax searches, because this is where the majority of the leads that I give out or that we'll joint venture on, this is where they come from. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm in Google and I put in Forsyth County GIS. The reason why I'm showing it to you this way is because normally for any county, you can put in the county name with the word county and GIS, and it will normally pull up the real estate tax mapping systems. So I'm going to click on Forsyth County GIS NC. There's also a Forsyth County in Georgia. And the one we want is Geodata Explorer for Forsyth County. So there's three things we can click on here. We have the planning app, we have the tax parcel viewer, and then we have the Forsyth sales one. What we want to focus on is the tax parcel viewer. This is the tax parcel information for all of the properties in Forsyth County. So you'll be able to get the detailed property information, everything that we need to make sure that these are viable leads that we are having skip traced. So I clicked on Tax Parcel Viewer, and this is where it gets tricky because they've changed the site. So when it prompts, gives you the screen to hit OK, you want to go ahead and hit that. And then if you look over to the left, you'll see a bunch of things that you can search by. So we can search by owner name, parcel number, REID, address, block, or lot. So we could easily just go in here and we could put in 745 Barney. And this was I think this was like my third wholesale deal. So I like using this one because it's pretty simple. So I hit apply after searching by the address. You never want to put the street extension like street, road, or lane. You just want to put in the street number and then the street, and it will normally pull up the street extension. So normally what happens is wherever the yellow circle is, it will pull up the information for this property. And I'm going to give it a couple of seconds, but if it doesn't open up, normally a white block will open and it will have some of the property details. So we want to actually ignore all of this. So I'm not going to wait for it to open, because here's where we really need to be. Across the top, starting with Tax Parcel Viewer, Forsyth County NC, Tax Office, Register of Deeds lookup, tax bill pay lookup, detailed property info, historical tax info. This is the link where we're really going to find the information. So this is the screen that you want to actually get to. And this is where we will look up all of the information. So what you can do when you get to this blue screen, go ahead and save that on your computer. And then the next time you come to it, you won't have to go through the green screen. You'll already be where the information is that we want to look up. So right here, I want to make sure that I put in location, and then it's going to give me an option to put in the street number. I'm going to do 745, and then I'm going to do Barney. No road extension. And when I hit search now, it gives me this. So I can now see the property owner information. I can see the street name, the street number, and I can see the parcel number. So I'm going to click on the parcel number and open up the record. Okay, so this is what we are looking for, guys. So really quickly, I'm going to go through each tab, and I'm also going to post the spreadsheet that you should be putting this information on. And the reason why that spreadsheet is important is because I've labeled the top row and I've given you a guide to go by. So you're going to know exactly where you need to put this information. And what happens is we collect all this information so that we know what we have in our leads. And then we go through and we dissect the information to determine if this is one that we need to skip trace. Do we need to save it because of who the owner was? There's a lot of things that we need in order to let us know if we should move forward or not. Okay, so the first one is going to be the Parcel tab. So if you look up top here, you can see the Parcel tab, and it's going to give us all this information: township, planning jurisdiction, city, land class, which is important. That has to do with zoning. We get the acreage, point 12, the deed date, deed book, deed page, revenue stamps, package sale date, package sale price, land sale date, land sale price. This transfer column, this is the main thing that we're looking at over here, because we want to know when was the last time this property was deeded. In the case of this property, I actually brought it at a wholesale price through my nonprofit. We purchased it for $2,500. After we got the property and we got into the rehab, because it was fire damaged and there were so many things that needed to be done to bring the property up to code, we felt like it was a little beyond our experience level. So rather than keeping on pouring money into the project, we decided that we would stop spending at $1,000. So we actually spent $900 to get all of the charred, burnt wood out of there, all of the clothes, everything like that. So we basically broke the structure down to its bones, and then we just put it on the market without even doing the rehab. So as you can see, $2,500 was the purchase price, and then you can see where we sold it 10/24/2017 for $12,500. So if you take away the small amount we paid in taxes, the attorney fees that we paid at closing, and then our what is it? The amount that we paid for the clean out and everything, our profit was in I want to say around 9,000 or so. And then you can even take the purchase price out of that. So yeah, I think I did take the purchase price out of that. So our profit was around 9,000 on that one. So the most important thing under parcel is the deed date and the package sale price. So the package sale price really isn't all that important. It just tells us what the property was sold for the last time that it was transferred. So sometimes you might see $1 there because it could have been like a nonprofit transaction. It could have been a transaction between family members. You're always going to see some amount there because in North Carolina, the sale of real estate has to have what's called consideration on the contract, and that consideration is money. So even if it was like a donation, you will still see an amount there, even if it's just $1. So we want to know when was the last time the property was deeded or transferred, because if it was deeded or transferred within the last 3 years, that means somebody beat us to the punch and they recently purchased the property. So we don't really want to look at these unless the tax bill is really high, because it could have been an inexperienced investor who, just came across the property and they really don't know what to do with it, or, they tried their first year landlording and it didn't work out. It could be a whole lot of reasons why that tax bill is so high, but tax bills are kind of an indication of seller motivation, because when you see those really high ones, especially if the property is, run down or vacant or is in need of a lot of repairs, they're probably not, if they've let the tax bill get that high, they're pretty close to foreclosure. So that's kind of an indication that they won't be able to bring this property back into its useful life in the real estate market. So we want to check for tax bills, even if the property has recently sold. If it has a high tax bill, we still want to target it. The other reason the transfer information is important is because if it was purchased in the last 3 years, it could have been purchased by somebody that we can add to our cash buyers list. So a lot of my ladies have been going through their leads and they've been seeing a lot of different LLCs, trusts and different companies that are the entities purchasing the real estate. So we can definitely skip trace those entities. We can research online. We can look for information on the company, and then we can send them a package to ask if they want to join our cash buyer network, because the cash buyer network is one of the things that keeps this going, because you want to have a steady pool of buyers. I feel like with the houses, they will always be there because of life situations. So, you know, people deal with divorce, people deal with losing their job and ending up in financial situations that may cause them not to be able to keep their house. They may have inherited the house when a loved one died. So there's certain things that happen in life, and those things let us know that there will always be deals, because nobody can, you know, really dictate what's going to happen in life. They don't know when somebody is going to fall ill and can't pay their mortgage, or somebody's going to go through a divorce, somebody's going to die and leave somebody a property. Those things, I call it the human condition, because, you know, those are things that we just can't change. So because of that, there will always be a steady flow of leads in the world. You just have to get to them before other investors or other wholesalers. The reason why I say other investors is because, you know, our goal is not to wholesale every deal that we get. When we are coming across some of these properties that we can purchase for $10,000, we can get capital financial partners to help us purchase the property, so that we can use it as a buy and hold and put it on our put it in our rental portfolio and, you know, become a landlord. And, you know, landlording doesn't have to be hard, because you can pay the professionals, you can do your numbers up front, you can plan for your vacancy, you can plan for big repairs, small repairs, you can plan for all of that in the cash flow that you're getting from the property. So if you know the HVAC is, you know, 15 years old, and whatever system the HVAC is, you know, that particular system lasts for about 20 years. Day one, when you purchase that property, you know, in about 5 years, you need to be looking at replacing the HVAC. So what you can do is, over that 5 years of getting cash flow off of the property, you figure in how much you're going to put aside each month for the HVAC. The same thing with the roof. That's why learning condition and things like that is so important, because you want to know, okay, a roof is about 25 years of life. So when you purchase it, how old was the roof when you purchased it, right? So if the roof has about, you know, 5 years on it, let's go at 5 years again. If the roof has about 5 years left on it, you know, in 5 years, you're going to need to do either a major roof repair or replace the roof altogether, because we want to keep homes safe, well kept, well maintained, always repaired. We want to keep homes like that for families, because we want, what if it was us? What if it was our children, our grandmother, father, whoever, you know, that was living in that property? So we always want to do our due diligence when it comes to repairs. And one of the biggest problems we have in North Carolina are those inexperienced landlords or new investors who purchase properties, and then they're unable to maintain the property and keep it in a repaired shape. So the Triad area, Greensboro specifically, has one of the highest asthma hospitalization rates for children because of the inadequacy of the housing repair. Like, you know, the carpets, the heating systems, and all that needs to be updated, and it's literally causing health problems for children. So the company that I learned this through made me a big advocate for clean, safe, affordable housing. That means you want to track the main systems of the house to know when it's going to be repaired. Okay, that's just like a little bonus clip in there, guys. So Parcel, and the most important thing here is the transfer information. Now let's go over to building. This is another one of the important tabs, because on the spreadsheet that I give you guys, there's a line called subject property DNA. What the DNA is simply the makeup of the house. So if I was going to tell you what the subject DNA is for this particular property, I will tell you that, okay, the living area square footage, and this is the heated square footage, the only square footage that matters when it comes to sales, is 936. It's 1 story. The style is conventional. The foundation is masonry. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that means it should be on a slab. It might have a crawl space though, if I can remember this house. I have to look into that now. I'm not, you know, a total expert on the construction of homes yet, but it's coming. So frame simply means if it's brick or frame. Exterior means aluminum. The heating is here. Heat pump tells you the type of air that it has, how many plumbing fixtures, what type of floor, carpet, and hardwood, the roof covering, the roof type, and all that. If you keep going down to the bottom, you can actually see a picture of the house, and you can actually see a building sketch. So this is where you find out all of that pertinent information that is going to let us know, does this home meet all of our criteria for what we actually want to purchase for our investors? Is this what they're looking for? And we also have the year built. The effective year built is 1995, and that's probably going to be because of the repairs that they put in the property. And then if you look over here to the end, this is the valuation information. So currently the land, that 0.12 acres, is assessed at $6,300. This is important, guys, because what if you have a structure like when we got this structure, it was so badly damaged, you know, we couldn't really find a house in that same shape to compare it to sales wise. And this is something that I'll put into a lesson later on. I actually already have it in a lesson, my BPO course for brokers. So there's some things that I can share with you out of there that will help you to determine the probable sales price, or, you know, what you should offer the sellers when we go after these deals. So this house was in such bad repair, we actually went by the land value. And so, you know, even though the lady was asking $7,000, we went way lower than that because we wanted to have enough to do the rehab. And so that's how we ended up getting it for $2,500. And because the house, I think, had fire damage a couple of times, we knew that the lady had already collected probably a good deal of insurance money on the property as well. So that also helped us to determine the price that we wanted to give. And then not only that, we purchased through my nonprofit, because one of the goals of my nonprofit is to increase the inventory of affordable housing for low income families and children. And that's exactly what we did with this property. So we purchased it, and the people who brought it from us, they actually moved into it while they were fixing it up. So, well, not necessarily moved into it while they were fixing it up, but their goal for purchasing the property was for them to fix it up and live in it. So they were able to get this property for $12,500, and now you can see it has a total assessed value of $43,100. So they have a pretty good deal of equity in this house already. And why is that important? Because you can borrow against the equity that you have in these homes. So if you're able to get a wholesale deal for $2,500, just look at all the equity that I gave up. And I mean, it's the perfect example. So, you know, purchase for $2,500. And now it's currently worth $43,100. Let's just say I would have kept it, right? So $43,100, and let's take out the $2,500 that I used to purchase it. Let's say about $500 for attorney's fees. Let's take that out. Let's say about $100 for taxes, and then about $900 for cleaning the property out. That still leaves us at $39,100. I could have, one, been renting the property for about I would say about $700 a month, because it's a 2-bedroom in the area. It would definitely go for $700 times 12. That's $8,400 right there. I would have made back, you know, almost 3 times as much as I paid for the property just by renting it for 1 year. So I would have gotten all my money back that I put into the purchase and cleaning it out and all of that. And then the next year it will be all profit. Not only that, I have the equity, $43,100. I can pull that out of the property, which means I can get a home equity loan. 9 times out of 10, they'll give you probably about 70% normally. So we would take that 43,100 times 0.70. We could get a $30,000 loan on this property that we purchased for $2,500. That's the beauty of real estate. It has so many ways that you can make money. The main ways that you make money off of it is by paying down any debt that you have on the property and then increasing the equity. So keeping it in good repair shape is gonna, help to keep the equity up. And then on your taxes, you claim depreciation. So, that's something to get into with your tax professional. I'm not going to go too far into that, but I just want to tell you guys the value that we have in these wholesale deals. If we can get a deal for $5,000, we definitely shouldn't sell that to an investor, because we should be able to come up with, between our friends, even our network of women investors, we should be able to get that property for $5,000, and then we could pull the equity out in a loan, and shoot, we could split that and use it for our family businesses. I mean, the opportunities are endless. We just got to get in the game. And that's my purpose of doing this. Just keeping everybody sharp, keeping up with recruiting new people so that we can always have more collaboration. That's all we need. The leads are going to be here. I didn't learn how to find these leads through wholesaling. That's the beauty of it. I learned how to source these leads when I was working for a nonprofit acquisitions team, and now I have my own. So listen, when it comes to leads, guys, that's a no-brainer. That's something you'll never have to worry about. You're free to find your own leads, because of course you don't owe me anything when I just help you with your own leads. The only reason why I would get half of these deals is because we are doing joint venture projects, so that you'll get paid and I'll get paid, and I'm just using my entity because that's what we do. So the income that I make from some of these wholesale deals, even though it may be taxable, is going to allow me to keep building the nonprofit so that I can have more access to inventory of leads, of vacant houses, or houses that need to be purchased and turned back over into the market, into their useful life. So we have all the building details here, and then we have the tax valuation over here. Very simple. The land tab, this is where you can see the acres, and you can also see that from the parcel tab, and then you can see the rate at which the land is valued. The other important section over here is going to be the tax bill. This is so important because this helps us to establish the motivated sellers from the unmotivated sellers. So again, if you look down here where it says total, when you see the tax bills that are 10,000 or 11,000, 15,000, those are targets, because 9 times out of 10, they will not have the money for those taxes and the money to, get the house, rehab the house into the state that it needs to be in for somebody to live in it, right? So we're just going by economics and statistics and what most people have. Most people don't even have $1,000 saved. And I have the numbers on this. So this is something that I'll give you guys in our credit session coming up this month. But yeah, most people don't even have $1,000 saved. So imagine somebody having $10,000 to pay in taxes and pay all these repairs for the property. They don't know anything about real estate. They won't be able to do it. So, it's not that we're taking advantage of anybody. We're actually solving their money problems, because these tax bills just continue to grow until it's foreclosed. So why should the house just foreclose? And that's going to bring, a stigma on the property, because foreclosure does carry, a certain stigma. And not only that, I mean, why shouldn't we be able to take advantage of this opportunity if it's just going to foreclose and go to some other investor? The reason why we do this the way that we do, and we drive for dollars, and the virtual driving for dollars for me is getting these code enforcement lists so that I can beat the people driving for dollars, and I can get to the sellers before them, because before they've even gotten in their car, I already have the open case from the city And the city gives me this information because they want me to assist them in solving this problem. So we're solving a lot of problems when we tackle these lists of leads that I have. One, not only are we solving the homeowners problems for cash and getting the property off their hands, getting rid of the headache, we're also assisting the city. So the city, they want property values to remain intact. They want homes purchased and repaired and rehab and turned back over into their useful life on the market so that somebody can rent it. Because every renter that comes in or every home purchaser that comes in, they are boosting the economy, because now, they're going to be ordering cable, they're going to be getting furniture, services, all those types of things. So, there's so many ways that we are benefiting, and don't worry, because, I'm going to share all of them with you guys, because I really want you to know what we have here. We have something solid. And I know a lot of people think I do this for me, like I'm making all this money, from coaching all these people, never sleeping, working 21 hours sometimes a day. People think this is for me, but it's not. I could easily hire a whole team of people from overseas to do what I need to do. And then, as a broker and having a network of brokers, I could send my boots on the ground team to do the sales and all that. But I feel like that would be an injustice to society, because I can help somebody else to do the same thing, right? So I want everybody to have ways that they can get into the real estate game and not have to have money or credit. Not only that, you don't even have to find the leads. So either way, I'm a broker. I know they will need a broker at some point. So, I know that I am training my competition, but at the same time, I'm also training up my collaboration, because now these are the people that I can do projects and deals with. These are the people that I can sell properties through from my firm. As an REO broker, I'll be listing a lot of foreclosures and short sales, and I can use you guys to purchase them. So, so many benefits in this, guys. But back to the tax bill research, here is where we really find the motivation, and we flag those so that we know we want to go after those first, because we have the best chances at getting somebody under contract who has a huge tax bill, especially if we're still going to put some money into their pocket. Also, it may be a reason for them to open up the opportunities of creative financing and do seller financing for you, so that, you give them a lump sum that will pay off the tax bill, put some money in their pocket, and now they're going to go ahead and deed the property over to you. So now you're responsible for everything until you pay them off. The beauty of that is, me as a broker, I have access to seller financing contracts, and they are not hard to write up at all. The other good thing is, and I think I just said this about real estate, whatever happens, whatever amount that seller is financing, the same thing if you were doing a bank loan or a home equity loan, it's secured by the actual property. So that's a very important thing to know, because, we can leverage other people's money for this, right? So no other investment vehicle is, really like that when it comes to leveraging money. So if you look right here, and it's funny because my son, I call him my number 3 because his name is Trayvon. I always wanted to call him Trey, which that's why his name is Trayvon, after my brother had a friend named Trey. I don't know if his name was Trevor or what, but they called him Trey. And so I put his name and my brother's name together, and I got Trayvon. But I call him my number 3. And if you look on the tax bill, the third one is us. So the Trayvon Project is the nonprofit that me and my son started in 2015 when he overdosed on Tylenol after losing his dad and being bullied in school. He was in a new school. He didn't want to fight and get in trouble. So we spent about a week in the hospital in Atlanta, and we made the Trayvon Project a nonprofit. And the goal of it is to actually take what I do in real estate with my property preservation teams, what I do for investors with scouting out properties and, making minor repairs and things like that, managing the rehab. I want to take young men and give them these skills so they will volunteer on my projects, and for their time, they will learn these different real estate skills that they can take back into the workforce, or they can become real estate entrepreneurs. So the Trayvon Project is set up to do some big things, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, I got to get these homes sold. I got to go through my list, and I got to make some capital, and I got to build, you know, my net worth and my portfolio so that we can pay for the things that we need, and we can also use other people's money to help us. So researching the tax bill, that's the other important tab, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go back, and so you see, once again, we have the Parcel tab. You want to click there. You want to check out buildings, miscellaneous improvements. Sometimes there'll be like a storage shed on the lot. So it looks like currently they put a storage building on this property in 2017. And so now you can see that that's there, and you can see the dimensions, and they're telling you that this improvement is assessed at $600. And we'll get into improvements later on, but improvements can be additional tax write-off. So you can actually bifurcate your tax depreciation, and you can actually depreciate the property. You can't depreciate the land. You can depreciate the personal property, and then you can depreciate the improvements. So that's something that we'll also learn about later. So you can look at the miscellaneous improvements. You can check out the land tab. We didn't talk much about the deeds tab, but we will later. And then the last thing that was of most importance is, of course, the tax bill. Okay, so using this website, this is where you will look up the information on the leads, and the spreadsheet for looking up that information already has an example. So it's basically just, you know, filling in the blanks, right? And then up top, you see the property description, and you see the owner's mailing address. So you see, in this case, I told you guys they were staying on the property to fix it up, but now if they didn't live there, the owner's mailing address would say something different, and we would still need that address because that's what we would skip trace by. And it's actually good when the owner's mailing address is separate from the property, because if the property is condemned and the owner has the same address as the property, you can almost guarantee that, you know, they don't live there. So that may be a homeowner that's going to be hard to reach. But when the mailing address is separate, then you know, okay, they don't stay at the property, so they're being kept up with, they're getting their tax bill, they're getting all the information about foreclosure, whatever, on the property. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell, guys. And if you ever need assistance with looking up the detailed property information on the leads or filling out the spreadsheet, the only thing you have to do is give me a call. I can be reached at either one of my cell phone numbers. I post it on the Patreon post all the time, guys, so you should have it. Or you can send me an email and just let me know what your question is or what you're having a problem with, or it may be that you need a live training. Normally, that's not the case. I've just been doing it one-on-one live because of my computer. I hadn't been able to record, but now I can. So this is it. This is everything that you need to look up the detailed property information on the leads. And again, if you have any problems, you can text me, message me. And then, you know, we also have the Community Building Partners Facebook group, which is called CBP Acquisitions. And I'll post this video in here also. All right, that's it, guys. Take care.